Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Trend Report. I'm glad you're joining me today. This is going to be another conversation with just me and you. I haven't done one of these in quite a while. And so I thought I'd spend a few minutes and just share some things with you that are kind of on my heart and some things that have been happening that I thought might be important to actually share. But before we dive into this quick episode, I want to take a minute and read a review for you. We got another review a couple of weeks ago, and as always, I read them on the air waves so you guys can hear them. And I just want to be a big shout out to the person that left this review for us, Kristen. Kristen, I really appreciate you. She left us a 5-star rating and a really nice review that says, "I'm a big fan. I make time to listen to the Trend Report because I want to be the first to know about the latest trends in the commercial interiors industry. Sid has done a fantastic job of varying the content to keep it interesting. Being an independent manufacturer's rep can be lonely. The Trend Report helps me feel connected with others with the same goal. Keep it up, Sid." Kristen, thank you very much for leaving the rating and the review. I appreciate you. I know you watch on YouTube. I'm doing today's episode as a solo with the video on just so that you can watch it over on YouTube. But I do appreciate you. I'm really grateful that you enjoy the content, and I really appreciate the comments and the things that you send me when you hear something throughout the episodes that resonate with you. So thank you very much. And for those of you that are listening, if you haven't had a chance to leave us a rating or review, I would really appreciate it if you did. It does help our show get reach and be discovered. You can do that on Apple. Head over there to Apple iTunes, click on the show, scroll down, and you can hit the rating review button. Or you can head over to the website at sidmeadows.com/podcast. And there's a big blue button there and on the episode pages that says "Love this show." You can click that blue button and leave us a rating and a review right there as well. So with that, I want to dive into today's conversation that I titled "Relationships, Mentors, and More." And this won't be a long conversation, but I do have some things I wanted to share with you. And I want to start out about relationships. I think we all understand that there are some amazing people in our industry. And throughout your career in the office furniture industry, you have the opportunity to meet some really cool people. And I think what's important about this is that we take the time and the effort to intentionally build a relationship with them. And that means focusing on getting to know them and not just continuing to talk about you or your products or your services, because you never know where these relationships can lead. And got a couple of examples for you. First, I'd like to tell you about John. John is the owner of Kiri, or CEO of Kiri. He out in San Diego, California. They are an acoustics manufacturer, acoustic wall tiles, ceiling tiles, things of that nature. Sold the business a couple of years ago to Carnegie. And I got the opportunity to meet John probably about 5 years ago. He saw an article that Rob Kirkbride had written about me, and he called me. And so we started a conversation that led to an engagement, which ended up leading to me going out there to working with him in California, getting to know him a little bit, having some lunch, and just really starting to build a relationship with him. And it continued even after our engagement ended, where occasionally we would talk on the phone. We talk about what's happening in the industry. We do some Zoom calls and just catch up. And then 2020 happened. And we all know what happened in 2020, so I don't need to go into that. But during that time, John and I would talk about business ideas, what we were seeing happening in the world of e-commerce, some cool things he was doing, some cool things that I was working on. And he called me on Saturdays when he was walking his dog. And it was just a great time to connect, especially during that season of life, right? And we just became friends. And through the course of the time, John would send me emails. He's an avid listener of the podcast, but he would send me emails that would say, "Sid, I'm a better reader than I am listener. Please, can you do a full transcript of the episode?" And I actually talked to him about it one time. I rolled my eyes. I'm like, "John, it is so much work to do a full transcript." And he just kept on, "Sid, I'm a better reader than I am a listener. Please do a full transcript." And so we did. We started probably about 8 or 10 episodes ago. I don't remember exactly. We started a full transcript that you can read. That's on the webpage at sidmeadows.com/episode, whatever the number is. You scroll down past the show notes, and there's a big blue button there that says read the transcript. We did that because people like John kept reaching out to me, and, we kind of laughed about it. And, after the first one we did, I called him. We played phone tag back and forth. We swapped some emails. We actually never connected. But over the course of the years, we had formed this really great friendship. And about 3 weeks ago, I was reading one of the industry magazines, and I noticed an announcement from Carnegie that indicated that John had lost his battle to cancer that started around 2021. And I just stood there for just a minute. I took a deep breath, and I had this flash of memory of my relationship with John, the meetings I've had with him, some of the phone calls I had with him. And it just reminded me how important it is to really build strong relationships in our industry. Though I never connected with him the last time we tried to connect, it didn't happen. We tried, I called him, he called me, but I never will forget our relationship with him or the impact that he had on me and my podcast. Because if you do read the transcript, that is because of John. And so I just want to say, John, thank you for the relationship. Thank you for the connection. Thank you for your friendship. And thank you for impacting me and my podcast and helping to make not only me a better person, but today's show a better show and helping us put out better content. And I think as we think about relationships, there's lots of relationship opportunities for us to meet people and to really go beyond, hey, I'm your regional, or I'm your manufacturer's rep, or I'm your dealer, or I'm your customer. There's a real opportunity for us to build a strong, powerful connections with people. And I want to encourage you to do that. And I'm going to give you a couple of other examples about relationships. So many, many years ago, I'm going to really date myself with this. I was working at Hayworth. I was a global account manager, and I met this guy named Steve. And we just hit it off and we became buddies. We worked together closely. We were both global account managers. We worked together closely and just got to be really good friends throughout life. And through all the many years ago, because this is like 25 years ago, I didn't have kids when Steve and I met. And to this day, I still talk to Steve. And not every day, not every week, not every month, but I have a very strong relationship with Steve, and I enjoy my conversations with him and our banter back and forth, talking about the industry, what's going on, talking about family, talking about life. I visited Steve. A couple of years ago, I went down to Florida where he lives, got to meet his girlfriend and hang out, have some adult beverages. And it's just been a great relationship because intentionally we focused on building that relationship. And a few weeks ago, I reached out to Steve and said, hey, man, I need some help. Can you do something and help me with something? And there was no hesitation whatsoever. And he came right back, did exactly what I asked him to do, and without asking me for anything. And I think that's one of the benefits of relationships is that you can really support each other and you can really help each other. And so again, as you're out there in the world today and meeting with people and engaging with people, really think about building a relationship and think about what it is that you can add to this person's life or this person's career. Or more importantly, what can they add to yours? So to all of you out there that I've had the opportunity to meet personally, some of you I have really great relationships with, some of you I'm just beginning those relationships with. I welcome the opportunity to continue to grow and to develop those relationships. So now let's move on to the next topic. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, and I might be. This is a little bit of an unusual episode because I only have some notes. I don't have a script or anything. So this is just me candidly talking with each of you. So I want to talk about being a mentor for just a minute. In my life, my career, I've had the opportunity to have some pretty amazing mentors, and very grateful for what I learned from them, from what they taught me. And today I do my very best to mentor people as much as I possibly can. In the world of leadership, I refer to this as reaching behind you and extending your hand and offering it to people that are coming up behind you and doing what you can to help them succeed. And I think as leaders, whether you have a title of a leader or not, you are a leader. You have the opportunity to be a leader. And I think it is incumbent upon those of us, especially that have been in the industry a long time, to help people along their journey. That's part of why I do this podcast, is to help people along their journey. All of you have heard me say this before, that my goal is to help move our industry forward. And I hope that this episode, or these episodes, and the content that we share with you actually does help you, and it is moving our industry forward. But I don't want to talk about me and my mentors today. I'd like to talk a minute about my wife and her mentor. Some of you have met my wife, Teresa. She is the chief information officer at a children's hospital, the reason that we live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I'm just going to tell you, she's all that in a bag of chips. Some of you know my wife. She puts up with me, which makes her a saint in and of itself. But many, many years ago, when we were living in Alabama, Teresa went to work at a hospital, and she went to work for this guy named Tim. And Tim saw some opportunity, some potential in her, that he wanted to help her, and he became her mentor. And he went above and beyond. He helped her. He groomed her for the job that she has today. And he did it very intentionally. He sent her to educational programs and courses and to boot camps, and all to prepare her to become a chief information officer. And when she was interviewing for the job, she had 2 or 3 different job offers. And he actually coached her through that process, like helped prep her for the job interview, helped her negotiate salaries and all those kinds of things. Never once did Tim ask for anything in return. And through the years, Teresa built a really, really strong relationship with him, and they became more than just a boss employee or a mentor and a mentee. They became true friends. I've had the opportunity to travel with Tim. He invited Teresa to speak at an event in Singapore. We went to Singapore for 10 days, got to know Tim pretty well, ate some chili crab with Tim over in Singapore. And Tim just went above and beyond in helping and supporting my wife. And this past year, the College of Health Information Management Executives, which is kind of in healthcare IT, it's kind of our IDA, if you will, awarded my wife, Teresa, the Chief Information Officer of the Year. And during her speech, she honored Tim and thanked him for everything that he had done for her career. But what he did for her also impacted us, impacted me and my children, impacted our family in a very, very positive way. And I feel like this is very morbid, but just a few weeks ago, Tim lost his battle to ALS. It was a very emotional time for our family because he meant so much to us, and he was so impactful and had such an impact on our family. And so Teresa got the chance to honor him. She got the chance to speak to him privately, one-on-one. The Chime organization recognized him, and he gave a speech at that event where she got her award. And leading up to his death, she had the opportunity to chat with him a couple of different times. And then obviously she went to his funeral to pay her respects to him and his family, because he meant so much to not just her, but to our family. So I say all this to tell you, if the opportunity exists for you to become a mentor, take it, because you have the power to truly impact not just someone's career, but someone's life. And if you're young or new in our industry and you're looking for a mentor, be intentional about seeking out, and don't be afraid to ask someone to mentor you, because it's such a powerful tool to have a mentor. And for those of us that do mentor people, it's an amazing gift to give back to our community, to give back to people coming up in our industry, who it is you are, what you've learned, and helping people along their journey. So take that opportunity. All right. So bullet point number 3, it's not about somebody losing their battle to a disease. But I felt these 2 things were really heavy on my heart, and I wanted to share them with you because I think, again, they're very important. Both of them tie directly to relationships, and so does the third topic. So about 4 years ago, Jeff Carlson with my resource library invited me to an event with the independent rep group network that gets together as a peer group, invited me to speak. So I went out there and was speaking at this event a couple of days. I knew several of the reps, some of them I did not know. And I had the opportunity to sit at the table next to this lady named Angela. I just met her. She's doing a startup company. She's working on her presentation. We're chatting, getting to know each other. I'm giving her some tips about her presentation. And that was the beginning of a relationship that grew for many years. A year or so after that introduction, and we met, we did some work for Angel and her business partner, Mark, some competitive research and things of that nature. In 2020, just before the lockdowns happened, my family and I were in Europe on spring break, and we went from Paris to London, took the train one morning to London. We're hanging around London, had already scheduled to have lunch with Angela and Mark, met us in a pub. My son, Jackson, says that was the best meal he had the whole trip. Kid's not a fan of French food, but he loved the fish and chips at the little pub we had in London. And, just had this opportunity over the years to work with and get to know and become friends with Angela and Mark. And some of you may have seen my LinkedIn post from a couple of weeks ago where I've made a change in my career and what I'm doing. And it's kind of a big change. And, it was through a relationship that started about 4 years ago through a random introduction sitting next to someone that has now led me to be a principal and vice president at ThinkSpace, the business that Angela and Mark started almost 5 years ago. And I'm really excited about the future. I'm really excited about partnering with Angela Mark and growing and helping to lead the growth and the initiatives at ThinkSpace in the United States. And I'm not going to give you a pitch about ThinkSpace or anything like that, but I just want to share with you, again, this ties directly back to relationships, intentionally building them. But I also think it's also about paying attention to your journey. We're all on a journey of life and business, right? And we never know where the road is going to take us. What I'm doing today was not planned. It was not set out to be, I'm going to be a principal in this business or anything like that. It's something that happened and developed over time. And as we became friends and colleagues and built trust together because we were building a relationship together. And, it's important as you walk down your journey that you pay attention to the things that are around you. You pay attention to the signs that are being put in front of you about the decisions that you should make about your career and about your life. In October, I joined ThinkSpace as a fractional vice president of sales to help ThinkSpace with their business strategy for 2023 and to help get their sales on track for the new year and really come together to push the business forward. And that engagement as a consultant led to me joining them permanently as a principal. And I couldn't be more excited about it. The whole purpose of this is just to share with you that life's full of changes, life's full of surprises. And when there's an opportunity in front of you and you feel like it's the right opportunity for you, take it, jump, go do it. You may be scared. It may be risky, but it may be wandering into the unknown. But if you can seize that 20 seconds of courage and, really look inside of yourself and realize what this can do. If you have the courage to make that change, if you have the courage to embrace change, right? And you really focus on you and your growth and your journey, then anything that you want to accomplish, you can accomplish. Because remember, life is about the journey. It's not about the destination. There's no end position that says I've accomplished everything. So you got to find joy in the journey and enjoy it and live your best life doing what it is you want to do with the people that you want to do it with. So I'm grateful to be partnered with ThinkSpace, to have joined the organization, and look forward to seeing all of you at NeoCon and sharing a little bit more about ThinkSpace and our products. We do have a permanent showroom that was announced just a couple of weeks ago, a suite 1099 on the 10th floor. So come by and visit, come by and say, hey, that's where I'll be hanging out. And I just want to say thanks. I want to thank you guys for listening today, for joining me in this heartfelt conversation where I just had some things in my heart that I wanted to share and put it out there in the world. So I got hope that you got some value out of today's conversation. I look forward to seeing you and talking to you again in a couple of weeks. Take care, everyone.